welcome to another episode of Let's Talk Deer, brought to you by Grandpa Ray Outdoors, owned by Mr. John O'Brien. John's a Midwestern guy. He's around the Madison, Wisconsin area. He's been an agronomist for over 29 years, so he knows seed, he knows soil, and he knows what white-tailed deer need. John has a large seed company, Grandpa Ray Outdoors, but also he's in educating. He's one of the best educators, seminar, platform speaker, communicator for soil, water, and cover. The soil brings the food, the water hydrates, and the cover keeps them safe. So that's what whitetail needs. So any questions at all about seed, go to grandparrayoutdoors.com. Let's Talk Deer does receive compensation from Grandpa Ray Outdoors for mentioning them on my show. Welcome. This is Bruce Hutchin, your host at Let's Talk Deer, and we're talking with an old friend of mine, Christopher Joe. And a long time ago, Christopher said, hey, I'd like to be on the show. We're going to start something different at the farm. And the farm is Joe's Black Angus farm down in, what's the little town you guys are in?
It's called Newbern, Alabama.
Newbern, Alabama. And so Christopher and
Yeah.
I got together a while and we stayed in touch, and I said it was about time we got him back on the show. So here we are. And Christopher, I just a pleasure to reconnect. We had a really good talk the other day. It was 45 minutes. And so what I want
Yeah.
to do on Facebook Live is just bring people up and tell them, one, what you're doing, two, how to get a hold of you so they can come on down and see what you got going.
Sure. My name is Christopher. I am fourth generation Black Angus cattle farmer down in Newbern, Alabama. So my family, originally we started in the cattle. We did some vegetables, but more so cattle was our main thing. And a couple of years ago, I started the process of trying to see how to diversify the property. We had 200 acres. All of it wasn't for the cows, so we had some woodland areas. So I wanted to manage the woodland areas for deer and turkey and rabbits. So I started looking around and got my hands into that. So I was pretty successful in getting the deer hunting down. And I also wanted to do something else, and I reached out to a person at the University of Alabama Tourist Department. And he mentioned to me, when he came down and rode the property with us, that ag tourism was a thing. And kind of hearing that, I was like, ag tourism. And upon research, I started to see that there's benefit into making your property available to the public, even though there's a little more to it, but it can be a profitable thing. And then also allows you to make income extra on top of what your normal is. So we started connecting with Birds and Nature Tours after I was connected with the Audubon Society in my state. So they came down and said they would like to do a partnership to where they would bring some of their birders in their organization down for a day of birding. So what I did, I started to research what I needed to do. And I just started connecting with all kinds of different people that were interested in birding, but didn't have a place that they felt comfortable in going. Because most of the time when you're bird watching, some of the people are, beside a highway. And that's not the most safe place to be if you're birding, because you may not know the person's property and you don't have any way of getting access to the property. So you're on the side of a highway and cars zooming by, and I mean, that can be dangerous. So I came up with the idea that that's going to be my main thing. Make our property available for people to enjoy without that kind of component there where it's dangerous, to where you're welcomed in, you can come. Like say on 200 acres, I can put you off somewhere and another person off somewhere, and you may not see each other for the rest of the day. So that's my main goal in doing the bird and nature tour business, was to make it available and bring people to a space in Alabama that we have a lot of unique birds at different times of the year. And birding is, a lot of people have what we call lifers, or they have birds that they want to see, and they're only in certain areas. So saying, hey, you can come down here, and that bird's path comes through Alabama, and some of it comes through our property. So we've seen tons of birds, and I'm not a professional birder. I'm a novice, but I bird watch. So I do have plenty of friends that can uh, listen and tell you what that bird is. They can do the bird calls with their mouth and bring birds to them. So it is just exciting to me that, we started this little thing down in, like say, in Newbern, Alabama, and you probably couldn't find it on a map. But just to say that there's a place like that, and people are now starting to find out about it a lot more. I think that's my main purpose is being met because, I mean, I've hosted, I think I started June 2018. We hosted probably 10 or more tours, and our largest being one day tour. I think we had 125 to 130 people
Oh
for
my
bird
goodness.
watching. So, I mean, you can imagine just people with binoculars and the high definition cameras that come out to here, and everybody just had a good time. So we do have a 18-foot trailer that we have square bales on. I remember you telling me about chunking square bales. So that's my that's my workout when I'm moving those square bales around and putting the seats on the trailer. But we loaded that up, and we can carry 25 at a time. But most of the people just walked from the tour bus down around the property. So some rode, some walked. But we can make that available for those that not. And we had a couple of people that they had bad legs, knees, hips, or whatever. You probably can do it now because you got that bionic hip now, so you ready to
I'm
roll.
good. I'm good to
You
go.
ready to roll. But that's one of the things that I think that set us aside from other tours because we can actually get you around on the property. If you say, well, I can't walk too far, well, we can get you to where you can have a starting point and then say, well, I want to walk to this point, but I need you to get me back, and we'll come drop you off. And normally I stay around enough anyway, so I'm walking with you most of the time. And we had a couple of people that just say, well, we're going to walk around this block. I have maps, detailed maps with the trails on it. So if you want to go off on your own and look, that's fine. But just making it available for people, I think that's the biggest draw and the compliments that we have is that the hospitality first and foremost, and then the condition of the property. I mean, there's no ruts, there's no deep gouges. We hadn't been mud riding out in the pastures. We hadn't been tearing up the property. So you have vegetation pretty much everywhere. You have a creek system that runs from the northeast to the south of our property. So if you're looking for different habitat changes, we have a creek area, pasture, hayland, and food plots, and also deep woods. So you can get your feel, and different birds live in different habitats. So a lot of people, you can go to one piece of the property and see some birds that you won't see on the other side. So it's just the variety, and I think it's the lure of, hey, we're on private property with these people that's been on the land for, I mean, like I said, I'm fourth generation, so that's family land that has a story behind it. So when we tell our story and can show people what we have, I mean, the rest is history. So I'm just trying to get our little place on the map even further and let people know what we have. And we do have some videos floating around on YouTube and different social medias. And like I said, I'll give my link, tell you my Instagram and all kind of other social media stuff. But the
Yeah, what are
national
they?
auto,
Yeah,
yeah.
what are your links?
So if you want to find me on Instagram, I'm mainly on Instagram. Is The Adventures of Breeze, which is the T-shirt that I have on, and I have the YouTube channel the same way. So it's on Instagram. It's The Adventures of underscore Breeze, Breeze, and then my Birds in Nature one is Birds in Nature Tours, and you just look it up on there and you'll see me. So those are the main two ways you can get in touch with me. And our website link is on there too, so you can find that as well. But
And what
yeah,
does it
we just
cost per day, on the farm? per bird?
$25. You can do
$25 per.
25. Mainly it's like a 2 to 3 hour. If you want to do more, if you want to go past that, it's $40. So if you're saying, well, I want to come in the morning and I just want to hang around all day, $40 to get you access to pretty much everything. Like I said,
And
I'm
do you pay
there
them, give
often.
them lunch? Any food?
We normally go to a place to where I have like a little partnership with them that we'll go eat lunch at in Greensboro, which is like 10 minutes from our farm. So we'll usually go stop for lunch at noon, eat, converse, kind of see what all birds everybody's seen, and we do have lists that we kind of everybody keeps track of what birds they've seen, and I mean it's like we're sitting around a long bench and everybody's just like, oh, I saw this bird. Well, did you see that one? And then you start showing pictures, and that it really gets interesting because people are like, I didn't see that one. I didn't see that one. But we normally do that. But for our large tours, like our annual one that we had, we normally cater that. So our home church is 5 minutes down the street from our farm. So we've hosted people. So the tour bus came to our church. We fed everybody, and the food was excellent. So everybody talks about the food too. So we'll cater those. But for just for individuals and small groups, we'll normally kind of show you, local places that you can go.
And again, that's Connecting with Birds
With
and Nature, LLC, hosted by Christopher Joe.
Yeah, yeah. So we have good times, and I think a lot of people are surprised when they get on the property and they say, "Wow, this is an actual farm that the cows right here." And a lot of people just love looking at the cows and the little calves. They come up sometimes, and uh, matter of fact, the tour bus driver, she had more fun than I think everybody did. She was riding on the back of the trailer, and she just was in shock. She said, "Oh, the cows are they following us?" I said, "Yeah, they just want to see what's going on."
They
She
wanted
just
that
was
hay.
real. They was like, "Hey, man, what you got on there?" But she just was amazed at that. And then also just a lot of people when they get on the farm, it kind of gives them a feeling, especially if they had some relatives that were farmers or their grandparents. It kind of reminds them. You can kind of see it in their faces, like, "Man, I remember being a little kid and going with my grandfather and us feeding the cows." So that part really plays an emotional tie to it. So they'll remember the trip. And like I said, I still get people talking about that trip that we did back in 19. That was like, man, I had a good time, and it just felt so homely. Felt like I knew you guys, and so I think that's the biggest thing that we got going is that we're easy accessible. Dad, he's there every day, just about going down to the farm, and then I can come home often, so it doesn't. I live in Montgomery, so it's not too barely a 2 hour, two or some change, something like that drive. So I'm all right
All
with
right.
that.
Well, we're gonna end this segment of Facebook Live with Connecting with Birds and Nature, presented by Christopher Joe.
That's right.